Okay, so yeah, so this is me again. Before I start, I always thank the conference itself about this topic that I'm sharing for you today. And yeah, honored to be here. And thank you again, JS Poland, for having me here. And so today, I'll be sharing with you what's the latest in Vue.js about Pinia. And again, I'm Devlin Duldulao, working for 3 years now in Oslo, Norway, but I'm originally from Philippines. So, yeah, this is Pinia. It's intuitive, type-safe, flexible store for Vue. But before we start exploring these features, I want to ask this question first. What does Pinia solve in Vue applications? So here's the answer. The problem with props drilling, and this is not only problem in Vue.js, this is problem in web development. So props drilling, if you haven't heard it, this is how it looks like, and I'm just going to describe it. You're trying to, so the scenario here is you're trying to render values, the same values, you're trying to sync it in different components. And the problem here is if the one component you're trying to use to render a state, right, a value is deeply nested in another component. So you'll be doing lots of emitting events upwards and passing props downwards. It's harder to maintain and harder to debug. So the solution here is to have this global state, right, that is accessible in every component. So global state, let's just say it's a store. Normally it's been called the store. So the idea is you have different components, or all your components have direct access to this store. So from props drilling, where you're doing emitting lots of events and passing props, now the components have direct access to store, and you can just use the state to render some values. So what is Pinia? Pinia is a brand new state management library in Vue.js, right? So let's check out the features. So intuitive. So stores are for us familiar as components. API is designed to let you write well-organized stores. It's type safe. So the types are inferred, which means the stores provide auto-completion, even if you are writing in JavaScript. So DevTools support Pinia hooks into Vue DevTools to give you an enhanced development experience in Vue.js 2 and Vue.js 3. It's also extensible, so reacts to store changes to extend Pinia with, for example, transactions, local storage synchronization, etc., and modular by design. So you can have multiple stores separated by their own business logic, and this helps bundlers with code splitting when you directly import a store into the components that need them, which is I'm going to show you later. You'll not be just doing lazy loading through router. You'll also be doing lazy loading in store, which is not available in React. So React developers would create this workaround code in order to do this code splitting in Redux store, right? So that's a comparison. Yeah, extremely light. Pinia is just around 1.5 KB. So if you haven't used Vue component of Vue.js, if you haven't written any Vue.js, this is how it looks like. Single file component. You have this JavaScript here. Data. This is the local state. This is how you would write a local state in Vue.js, and you have these methods where you put all your functions, right, and compute it for the derived state. Well, in Pinia store, right, you have this state, same as like data, actions, counterpart of methods, and you have these getters, derived state. which is also like computed. So Vue component, Pinia store, similar, easy to use. So that's the comparison between a Vue component and a Pinia store. So what about comparison between the old state management library in Vue, which is Vuejs? So it's been Vuejs has been around in Vue.js world, and to compare the old state management library and this new state managed library, which the Vue.js core team has recommended. So I combined already this JavaScript here, how you would write Pinia in Vuejs. So the difference is in Vuejs, you still have to use these mutations, this code block here. So mutation is this where you mutate your state. And you have this action here, which in order to run this increment count, which will mutate the state, you have to select dispatch or commit. You have to commit the name of the mutation, which is it's like, why are we doing this? But now in Pinia, you don't have to do these mutations. There's no mutation. The mutation is happening inside the action here. As you can see, this.count++, which will mutate the count or the state. So from 4 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is Vuex, now it goes down went down to 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 for Pinia, which is very easy to use. And this is it. This is the store. You can compare this with NGRX and Redux. On the flow, very simple. You have the global state, which is the store, and we all know that store needs initial value, right, or default value, and this is not only applicable in Vue.js, so this is also applicable in React world and Angular and in Svelte, that any store needs to have this initial value. And then from the initial value, if you want to render it, you will be using getters. So 1, store, 2, getters, which is you'll be using in your components. And then from there, you'll be just directly interacting or triggering actions, which will change the state inside the store. So again, store management, state management. First step, you have the store. Second step, getters. Third step, action. That is 1, 2, 3. So yeah, we're done with the flow or the comparison between components and Pinia. Now we'll do some demo here, just to show you how to use it. Let's dig our code here. So this is a Vue.js application. We have here package.json. Let's just see what's inside of this package.json. So we have Pinia testing, Vite for the dev dependencies. We have Vue router for routing, Pinia itself, Pinia plugin persisted state. So I'll be doing this demo with local storage. With local storage involved, so to give you this real-world scenario where when the user refresh the browser, the state of the application is still there. Okay, so for the features, let's try the store, so maybe counter first. So this is Pinia in JavaScript way of writing it. So you have this define store, and the name of the store, counter, state again, is just a function that returns this object. Let's say count, initial value 0, actions, name it increment, which increments this count, this state by 1. And we have another action here, reset. So in Pinia, you can directly mutate the state, or you can use this $$ patch to apply multiple changes at the same time. And for the derived state, let's say double count, which will just return the count multiplied by 2. So this is the store. Very simple. What about integrating it in Vue.js? So let's go to app.vue. We have router view here, main.ts. So here we're importing create React app, create app view, create Pinia, persist from the Pinia plugin persisted state, the root component, the router, and then we're creating Pinia here. And Pinia also has this this middleware concept where you can pass plugin. So we're passing this persist from Pinia plugin persisted state. Create app from Vue also has this middleware concept. So we're passing Pinia and we're passing this router, right? So from counter, how to use that in pages. Let's go to these features. Oh, home, sorry, home. So Vue.js 3 has this composition API that we called and how to write this component. So we'll be using this define component from Vue. And to use the store, we're going to use this hook use counter store that we just created inside the stores. And in order to connect the double count inside the component, we'll be using this store to reps and passing down the hooks. There's some boilerplate here. As you can see, this is called composition API. Even the increment and reset functions, we're extracting it here, and now we're returning it, right? Then this is typical in Vue.js. But there's a better way of writing this, and I will show it to you later. So after this, after returning, now we can use this in our template, double count, double curly brace. In this click event, we have increment. Another click event, we have this reset. So as you can see, we have also reflecting. We're also reflecting the values of count in the features. So let's check it out. The features, this navigation bar. So in Vue.js, we have this script set up. API that you can use to remove this boilerplate that I showed you earlier. This define component where you're returning the state and the actions, right? You don't have to write this in this new way of writing Vue.js, this is now the recommended way. So in the recommended way, you'll be using this setup inside the script. And you can basically just use the hook that you created, store counter, although you cannot destructure it here. And now, store counter, you can use it anywhere now in your template, just like this, store counter dot double count. So from the composition API, which a bit boilerplatey, now you're down to just using the hook and then apply it in the template. So as a React developer, myself, and also Angular developer, this is way too much easy to remember and easy to teach to an onboarding developer or junior developer about state management, reflecting changes in the component. Because in React, you have to use selectors, right? You have to use dispatch. But here in Vue.js, you have the store, use it directly in your template, and it's going to start working. Same thing in NGRX. You have to create selectors, right? And then dispatch also these actions in order to just trigger the action you created in the store. Okay, so Also in features, so let's try this. Coming here in features. So yeah, a real-world scenario also where you're reflecting a state, let's say in the sidebar, in the navigation bar, increment by 2, also in footer. Very easy due to this script tag and this Pinia. Now, another one, how do you now do asynchronous calls inside the, let's say, store? I have a sample here, post, store, post. So asynchronous with side effects, right? So if you have this action with side effects, you can just use async and await, fetch post, use try catch. If you want to change the state in a catch block or in a try, for example, this one, I'm using Axios here. So in Axios, sending requests, destructure the data, directly mutate the state, which is post here, and then that's it. Post here. You can render exactly right away, the getters or the state that you're trying to add here in your store. So also through Pinia, you can write TypeScript. You can use TypeScript and make it type safe. Showing you here state type. I have here another one, action type, getters type, and add this in the define store, which has this generic way for you to add these types, and it will just help you write things here without getting or wrong spelled here. And this is pretty big. This is pretty much intuitive and very easy to use, which is the point of Pinia, because let me show to you how you would do it in React. You have these async actions, right, that you have to write, and then adding it in slice, this extra builders that you see here, builder.add case over and over again, and then NGRX, you have these actions, these effects, versus, and then this selectors, and then again, I'm comparing this with Redux and NGRX because these are the topmost state management libraries our developers are using in React and Angular. So yeah, so that's it. The repo, you can find it here, GitHub Webmaster Devlin simple dash Pinia, and Jinkuya.